Hello, everybody. It's great to be here. I have Sanjay with me today, and today we're going to be talking about how the world's going to change things with generative AI, how it can be used in areas like customer service and support, and how it can make your life better, how it can make your company better, and how you can realize more opportunities to make a lot more money with a lot less expenses. So, we're going to talk about today. My name is Gary Fowler, and I'm your host. I'm a 17-time serial entrepreneur with several unicorns under the belt. I was on the original management team at Click Software, which was sold to Salesforce for $1.35 billion, and also Eva.ai, an AI agent tech company, in fact, one of the first generative AI companies that have formed with Dr. David Yang. We believe that intellectual capacity is evenly spread around the world, but opportunities are not. And Sanjay, tell us a few words about yourself.
Yeah, Sanjay, I've been doing AI analytics all my life. Started my first company, Izenda, in a dorm room at Georgia State. Well, did my MBA. Before that, I worked at Microsoft and Radiant Systems. I actually developed one of the first commercial scale pizza ordering systems. The number of things. My last startup, I worked with Rihanna's Fenty brand. We launched stores during the pandemic to do sizing with LiDAR from, during Omicron with the social distance. And now I'm working on Runday and helping businesses enter this new agentic age that we are seeing ourselves going into.
So tell us a little bit about. I know you're out at TechCrunch right now. What's happening? What kind of things? I know that we've got this opportunity for human and AI agents working together, but what kind of trends are you seeing out there, Sanjay? What's happening in Silicon Valley?
We're really seeing this unification. There's the media narrative for the past couple of years has been all about kind of fear mongering how AI is going to take your job. But if you really look at projections, especially decades out, we're going to have a massive labor shortage of hundreds of millions of people. And the only way cultures, countries, and companies are going to sustain themselves is through AI agents. And so we've had, the agricultural age, the industrial age, information age. You can call what we're in right now the social media age, but the age we're entering because of generative AI is really this agentic age where they're projecting there's going to be more AI workers than people, like really, and not 50 years from now or 15 years from now, perhaps even 5 years from now. So it's going to happen really fast. And then if you project a little bit outward from there, you're going to see robotics come in. We may see a world in our lifetimes where there's more robots than people. I don't know if I agree with that prediction, but definitely if you see what we're seeing in business and the startup ecosystem and even enterprises embracing AI in different ways, you can think of an agentic framework working in a business context is just imagine you just had a team of interns. So you have your core team, they're doing their thing, but there's things that they need help with. Now, years ago, before working populations were collapsing, you would just hire interns at minimum wage and give them all these tasks. Well, that's not possible today in a major city like San Francisco or New York or London. Interns are making nearly six figures, sometimes into the six figures. So there's no cheap young labor force really anywhere in the world. You can't say go to India, you can't say go to China. Those are expensive populations now, and there's really very few pockets of like just cheap labor, even if you go remote. So an agentic framework allows human beings using CRM systems, using telephony systems to work together with AI agents that are generative in nature. And the difference here is, so what is an agent? And so we've had ChatGPT for a couple of years now. Those are good at brainstorming, co-piloting, working with you as an individual. An agent is something that has agency. So independent of you, while you're sleeping, while you're busy in a call, it can look at your schedule, it can make changes, it can book flights, it can make phone calls. So really, we're not seeing these AIs as like parallels. Maybe they'll achieve that one day, but really, if you had a bunch of interns, what would you have them do? And that's really the future I'm seeing us enter into.
So you look at it out there, and it's kind of like people talk about things, but they don't do them. What do you think? Why? How can you go down through? I was going to say, why aren't corporations doing it more? But how can we go down through and have them understand the power of these agents to be able to help them dramatically change their businesses? How do we go down through then? And individuals on an individual level, I mean, we all need to go down through and tackle the problem of infobesity. But how do we do that? How do we get them out there? What message do you want to send to them?
Well, actually, Fortune 50 companies are embracing startups with generative AI faster than ever. We work with the likes of Ford, Procter and Gamble, And before, you would never have that kind of conversation between the largest companies and the smallest companies. That's actually happening today. But I think what's really going to drive the progress and the scale is really when the first companies start going out delivering amazing customer experiences. When you start seeing reviews about companies, how great their customer service is as a result of this, embracing this agentic mindset, and then that's going to trickle into the competitive landscape where your competitor you can get something just because your competitor. I've seen this a lot of times in my career where people were reluctant to embrace. It was analytics at first, and then it was other forms of AI or even CRM systems. As people are slow to adopt, and then their competitor has it, and then they're suddenly very rapid to adopt. So just like we saw with ChatGPT on the consumer side and some of these consumer apps and video editors, you do it because your friends do it, and your colleagues do it, and your other video producers do it, right? Businesses haven't been that rapid, but the technologies also weren't enterprise in nature yet. So this is the first, I'd say last few months, we've really seen these multimodal AIs be enterprise ready. That wasn't the case a
Well,
year
tell
ago.
us a little bit. What is a multimodal AI?
A multimodal AI, the way we implement it, is the idea that it can use social media to go find your ideal prospect, connect with them, like their posts, like start a relationship, maybe break the ice, get them on your calendar. And when they don't show up for your demo, it can go, reach out over a text message or make a phone call to just kind of, not to bother them, but just to say, hey, sorry you couldn't make it. Let's, when are you available again? Thursday, great. Morning or afternoon? Awesome. I have a 3 o'clock available. So going, social media, text messaging, voice, and then later we're just going to see, I think, video avatars. Once it may take a couple of years, but if you can just video your the business, people are, especially the younger generations, they're just going to do a video, whether it's on Snap or WhatsApp, just going to video a business and say, hey, I want my dog room, I need my car fixed, whatever service you need.
So how does it? So what kind of impact that's going to have on a business? So how much bigger can they make their business just based on that? So they put these agents in. What is it going to do? Let's say there's a medium-sized business out there. What kind of impact on their business?
So just imagine the kind of comparison of if you can make people twice as productive. If say you had a 5-person team and 10 interns could give each person two or three interns, how much they'd be twice as productive. So what are you going to do? Are you going to fire half of them, like the media talks about, like kill jobs and be more profitable? No, because capitalism today is not rewarding profitability, it's rewarding growth, right? So if you make people twice as productive, you might double, triple, quadruple that team and take market share from your competitors, and then everyone else starts doing that. These are the industries that'll grow.
No, I agree. And so we go down through it. What about the downside of it? Are there any issues with these hallucinations and things? People talk about hallucinations. How are the agents now compared to before? And how are we dealing with hallucinations? So if you're trying to come up and buy a truck, it doesn't bring you a motorcycle.
Yeah, there's been a lot of progress on the hallucination front. A year or two ago, hallucinations were a major aspect of AI, and just working with them, that's gradually been corrected. There's been both revolutionary and evolutionary kind of techniques that have kind of helped that. But really, with these these agentic frameworks, is like you kind of use one AI to check another, right? So in doing that, you sort of say to one AI, okay, you're here to answer questions, and the other AI is like, hey, you're here to make sure that none of the answers violate the persona. Example would be, there's a healthcare company that we're looking at, and they do things around like acid reflux, and they just want the agent to figure out what kind of insurance you have and what's the best path through your insurance to get to a doctor. They don't want it ever to say, go try Pepsid or go try this over the counter product. Even if you ask, like, hey, should I use XYZ for my acid reflux? It's going to say, well, that's something you should really talk about with your doctor. What kind of insurance do you have? And to just really guide them down that path and navigating complex insurance issues and getting to the right type of doctor, which would be a gastroenterologist in that case. So that's really so the AI is being two
Well, I mean,
layered.
that is a big problem, right? We all have a problem with doctors is how to find the doctor and who's the right doctor.
Yeah.
I want to make sure the reviews are right. And if there's another challenge, I mean, that brings another point. If you have some type of sickness or an illness, how do you know who to talk to, where they are? Does it matter where they're located physically, or can you do something from a telemedicine standpoint? I mean, it's going to open up possibilities. And the other thing is, it may be able to answer some of those questions for us so we don't have to go to the doctor, so it can qualify who's the best to do it, who's got the most operations,
Because
right?
it depends on who really takes your insurance today. So that's a good example of a multimodal where I've struggled to kind of when I spend time in another state, like how do it sort of says in these apps that a doctor may take my insurance, but until you call them and verify, you don't know. So imagine if you had an intern, right? And you said your intern, hey, gotta go to the doctor. Can you call, can you call some of the best reviewed ones and see if they really take this insurance? At the time I United, there's 27 Uniteds, right? So it's not there's like one United. And so that's a great example of a multimodal use case where you might have it if you had a personal assistant or an intern do that. Well, now you can have an agentic framework that could, make these phone calls because there's no other way to talk to them sometimes and say, hey, I have this specific brand of United Insurance. Do you guys accept that? Yeah, still accept that. And then out of the five, if one or two of them do, then it can decide, okay, which has better reviews and which is closer. And so that's a lot of work, that an agentic framework using multimodal AI generative techniques can kind of do for you.
So, what's the process like? To walk us through the process. Let's say somebody comes in and says that they want to, a company comes in and says they want to develop a relationship with Runday. What do you do? What exactly do you do to get them to the point that this thing's live and running and they have those AI agents working for them?
Well, it's pretty quick. So we have a no code platform that builds these rapidly. So, we need access to a website and then a sales brochure, a policy manual, just some information. If you were going to hire, again, like it's like interns. If you're going to hire some interns, what would you have them read about your product and your brand and the job role? And so we need some description of the job role, whatever marketing brochures, collateral, pricing sheets, and then we would access your website. The AI then creates a spreadsheet. The spreadsheet has a rough script. We then use that spreadsheet to integrate with your CRM systems, whatever, phone system, CRM. So the agency we give it is because it can access your system just like your human team does, just like an intern would. And so then what's nice about Run, if you use a spreadsheet, then you can manage the system. You don't have to learn a drag and drop interface or any kind of programming language. It's all just in a spreadsheet describing, hey, I want this kind of persona. I want, this image. I want this is my logo. It's all like just in a simple spreadsheet. And then we can deploy that to a phone number or to your website or connect it to your social media and your advertisements.
Now, how many agents can somebody have, Sanjay? How do you price it? Let's say a medium sized business comes in and they say, we want to dramatically increase our business. How many agents can they have?
We don't really limit the number of agents. What we find is people tend to do two or three. There's primary use cases are going to be customer success, support, and then sales. In some cases, the questions that your existing customers are asking are the same questions as your prospects and potential buyers are asking. In that case, you just have the same agent and you sort of it can use integration with HubSpot and various things to figure out if you're an existing customer or a new customer. Once it knows your email, and then after asking once, it remembers that as long as you're using that device. And so the same agent can actually perform different. So you could, if you wanted to, have a separate agent for customers and prospects, but sometimes you don't need to, especially if the CRM system has that data. And then you may also integrate additional internal capabilities. So if they're inside of your app, it may do access APIs and things that are more secure and private to tell you about your own
Well,
account.
tell us a little bit about it. What do you mean? Explain it to some of the business owner. What does that mean, access to the APIs, and what does that do for them?
So you may ask the agent a question like, well, how many visitors did I have last month? That's not public information that's on somebody on your website. It's like particular to their account, if say you're a software company. So that tenant or that particular client of yours has answers that only correlate to them. So we can integrate with APIs and databases to answer that question. In
So
that
it
case,
becomes very personalized information.
it knows not
So
just like what the answer, but your answer. Okay. Yeah, so I mean, really, this is more than just something. Even generative AI was sort of a technology that allows us to train models a lot faster. So the previous technology, LSTMs and RNNs, they could do some of the things we're doing with generative AI, but it would have taken hundreds of years to train the models on all of Wikipedia, things like that. So the transformer model, which led to generative AI, really was a technique, a technological breakthrough, one an incredible one at that. But what I think is the bigger scenario here is that we're in a new age where an organization can have any number of AI employees that are working with their teams, even if they're more knowledgeable potentially than people, they're not going to be as creative or as talented in a competitive way, at least for the next few years. But the I think this metaphor of like if you could just have as many interns as you wanted, what would you have them do, and how would you scale your business? That really defines this new age we're in. Just like in the agricultural age, we started developing tools for agriculture. And hey, Gary, looks like you're back.
Yeah, we're back. We had a little power issue there. It's great. Sorry about that. Um, Sanjay, so tell us a little bit more. So how did they get a hold of you? How did they come in? What's
Yeah,
the
you can just go to Runday.AI, and there's a try now button. You can just put in your email there, or contact me directly, Sanjay at Runday.ai.
excellent? And looking at the future, what do you think is going to happen over the next 5 years? So tell us a little bit. How do you think businesses are going to evolve in their relationship with artificial intelligence? What do you think is going to happen? Uh, let's say 5 years from now. How different is it going to be then than it is now?
If you look at the past 5 years, what you've seen is that the most of the stock market gains are dominated by AI companies. And so we've already sort of seen this in large, measurable, multi-trillion-dollar valuations. So you're going to see that same phenomenon happen for every business and every industry on the planet. You're going to see the companies that are embracing AI and these agentic frameworks and tools like Runday make it easy for small and mid-market companies to, without multi-million dollar budgets, to do things and try things right away. So you're going to see, every industry, just like the Fortune or the S&P 500 has been. You're going to see every market in every country dominated by the companies that embrace AI, that's scale, grow their market share, grow their headcounts, because they can have these agentic frameworks supplement people while they're busy, while they're sleeping, any talent gaps. It allows people to take on jobs they couldn't do before. There's now programmers that maybe they were in a junior role, and now they can, instead of spending years becoming a senior programmer, they can do some of the tasks that would require a senior programmer. So you're going to see people that are really focused on growth, really embracing this in dramatic ways, and really punching way above their weight. You're going to see small companies. Some theorize you're going to see the first, one person unicorn. I don't know if I believe in that, but I think it's possible, whether it's a good idea or not. But you're going to definitely see like 5 to 10 person companies becoming unicorns, really competing against much larger companies with thousands of employees.
Yeah, no, you're right on that side. And what's going to happen if they don't utilize these tools? What's going to happen to those companies that don't utilize them?
The countries, the cultures, and the companies that are not utilizing, just like you look at the S&P 500 or the Dow, they're not going to be on the list anymore.
What's going to happen, Sanjay? So if we look at the companies that are out there, or what markets, shall we say, what vertical markets right now can use this to be able to dramatically impact your business?
Where you're probably the most opportunity is probably healthcare, although I don't know if that'll be the fastest to embrace. Where we're seeing the most rapid growth right now is marketing. Marketing agencies are embracing AI agents, things like this, just to kind of like help their clients compete, because that's sort of their role and how they stay relevant. So you're going to see a lot in marketing and sales. Next will be customer support. Right now, everyone's customer support is kind of terrible, so it's tolerated. We tolerate customer support today we wouldn't have tolerated 5 or 10 years ago. And the pandemic and other things and the wars are kind of aspects of it. But we can't do it forever. You can't just blame COVID for your terrible customer service forever, right? So companies are starting to go back and provide incredible customer service, and it's possible through these agentic frameworks and different AI technologies. And those are going to really start thriving. So first, I'd say marketing, next customer service, and then long-term things like healthcare are going to be dramatically shifted.
Excellent. So we're coming up to the top of the show. So closing thoughts, and how do people get a hold of you?
So just send me an email, Sanjay@Runday.AI, or go to Runday.AI. We just put up a new website, and just do try now and try it on your brand.
Sounds great. Thanks for taking time out of your busy schedule to join us today. And thanks to all my audience for joining one more time. Runday Presents. My name is Gary Fowler, and I'm your host. Stay happy, stay safe, and stay healthy. We'll be back again soon with another exciting edition. Take care, everybody. Good seeing you, Sanjay.
Thanks.